Hi everybody, my name is Jo with Jo Wise Leadership, and today we're going to be talking about droopy leaves. So I'm just going to share with my other page and make sure everything is working well on Facebook Live. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. It is a little rainy and overcast in Melbourne today, and it's really nice. It's been so super hot the last couple of days. It's so refreshing. So it's beautiful this morning here. Okay, so we've got people starting to come on, so I'm just going to share quickly with my page. And share. Who have we got on this morning? We've got Steph. How are you, Steph? I see two little kids on that photo of yours now. Congratulations. And hi, Stephanie. We've got a Stephanie morning this morning. Nice to see you both. We've got other people coming on this morning, so I'm going to get kicked off this morning. Today we are talking about droopy leaves. And Steph, Steph, this is, if you're sick as a brown dog today, then you might want to listen to this message, because this is pretty much why I'm doing this message today. A couple of weeks, like a week or so ago, we went out and we decided we were going to have lots of really nice indoor plants in our new house that we moved into in January. So we went out to a nice nursery in Brunswick Street, and we decided we had 3 criteria for what type of plants we wanted in our house. Very, very clear on what we wanted. We wanted plants that looked great. We wanted plants that were really, really, really easy to keep alive. And we also wanted plants that were going to be healthy within the inside environment. So off we go to Brunswick. We find that beautiful nursery there. Great, Steph. Nice to hear from you. And we went in. So we went around and we had a bit of a look, and we thought we were able to answer the questions around, or the criteria around, which looked good. So we went and found a heap of plants we liked, pointed them out, and then I went and tracked down the guy that owns the shop, or runs the shop. And I said to him, okay, this is exactly what we're after. We want plants that are good inside plants for us environmentally, and also they need to be really super easy to keep alive. So a couple of the plants we'd picked, he was like, no, that'll be a bit of a challenge for you. And that's an area of my life I don't need to challenge myself in. I have plenty of others at the moment. So we picked out, there was like 2 or 3 plants that we picked out in the end. And one of them is right here, this one right here. And look, I don't know what it's called. It's a plant. That's pretty much the extent of my plant knowledge. But when I was talking to the guy, I'm like, all right, so tell me exactly what I need to do to take care of this plant. And he's, look, seriously, these plants are pretty easy to kill. Pretty hard to kill. That was the point, pretty hard to kill. And he said, but what will happen? He said, look, start out by watering it like once a week. He said, just keep an eye on it. He said, but if you notice the leaves drooping, then that's like a clear indicator that it needs water. So, good morning, Tatiana. Nice to see you today. And so he said, as soon as they see the leaves drooping, you've left it too long. You need to water it. But he said, and I was like, oh, cool. So it's like, it has a warning. It tells us exactly when to water it. He said, no. He said, it does do that. But if you let the leaves droop too often, so for example, if you leave it and go, I'm not going to water it until the leaves droop every time, once it's done that a little bit, it's going to just go, no way, they're not watering me enough. I'm out of here. And will completely die. So even though it's got the warning indicator of the leaves drooping, he said pretty much it's okay to leave it as a warning once or twice, but if you continually let the leaves droop too low, then you'll lose the plant altogether. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right. So that sounded pretty easy as far as I was concerned. Good morning, Tatiana. Nice to see you today. And then, so we brought the plants home and had it set up in one spot, and it didn't seem to be going so well, so we've moved it to this spot here now, which is why I'm sitting on the floor right now with my plant. And I noticed, I was watering it once a week, and I noticed that it was starting to droop in between that. So I was like, okay, well, the once a week thing's not working, I need to water it a little bit more. So now I'm watering it, I don't know, a couple of times a week. but I don't need the leaves to droop anymore because I've paid attention to the plant. I know where it's located in my house. I'm pretty okay about it's getting a decent amount of sunshine, but not too much. And I'm watering it a couple of times a week now. Good morning, Mirza. Nice to see you. So I've paid attention. I've looked it out. I know what the warning signs are, but I don't want to get to the warning signs because I know if I do that too often, then I'm going to lose the plant. So that's the plant story, right? Then over the last week, on a different note altogether, not really altogether, but I've noticed a couple of posts going up on Facebook of people sort of in my circle. I don't necessarily, I may have met them once or twice. And people like, I've spoken to at school drop-off and just people around the traps. I've been hearing a little bit about people getting really, really run down. And one woman I saw a post this morning's ended up in hospital, and a couple of others are getting really quite sick because they know that they're really, really run down. And I thought to myself, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we can pay attention to how low our mobile phone gets, and I know people that would totally lose their shit if their mobile phone ran out of charge. We're always really clear on when our mobile phone needs charging, where some of us are clear on when our plant leaves are drooping and when they need watering, but sometimes we don't necessarily pay attention to ourselves of when our leaves are drooping or our mobile, our own charge is running down. Isn't that fascinating that something like this plant cost me, $70. Mobile phone cost me, say, $1,000, but way less valuable to me than my life. And I know to other people out there, their things are not nearly as important to them as their lives, yet we tend to pay more attention about the battery life of our phone or the leaves dripping on our plants. So I started to think about it this morning and thought, well, I think this is what I'm actually going to speak about today. I was actually sitting on the lounge this morning having a nice turmeric latte and thinking, what am I going to speak about today? What do I really need to share today? And that's why I was looking at this plant thinking, I think that's what I need to share today. And I think one of the things that's really important for us to understand is, what are our signs? We don't have a little charge button on our phone that tells us how low our charge is getting. We don't have droopy leaves necessarily, but we have our own version of that. So, ask yourself, what are my droopy leaves? What is my low charge on my phone personally for me? I know with me, the things that really stick out for me is when I'm starting to get low on charge, when my leaves are starting to get a little droopy. When I'm pushing myself a bit hard, I start to get really worried about things. I'm not present with my family, so with Cam and Marley. I'll be playing with Marley after school, but I'll be thinking about other stuff, and I'll be running off doing little things all the time. And they're sort of the main ones that stick out for me, but also I start to get frustrated quite easily. And like I said, everything it seems like everything, even the little things, seem like massive things. So that's when I said I worry a lot. That's one of the indicators to me that my resilience is down. I'm not, I'm pushing myself too far. I'm not taking care of myself. So just ask yourself, what are the indicators for you? Because when we get clear on what these indicators are, we can, one, notice when we hit there, but also have more awareness of before we get to that stage. Like the plant, the first couple of weeks, the leaves had to droop before I realized it needed watering. But after, I think it was only about 2 weeks that I had it, I realized it needed more water than what I was told. So we have to trust our own instincts. We have to trust what we need for ourselves. Nobody else can tell us. People can give us an idea. People can tell us what works for them, but we need to try it on ourselves. We need to give it a go ourselves, and we need to pay close attention to ourselves for what it is that we need. And then start taking action around it. Good morning, Leonie. Nice to see you. So the keys of what I want to share today is get really clear on what your droopy leaves are. Get really clear on what the things are that are leading up to your droopy leaves. And then pay close attention to those things and the things leading up to it and start to do something about it. So as I mentioned to you earlier, I sat on the couch this morning and had a cup of tea for about half an hour. I would love to say that I do that every single day, but I don't, because so often I get in there, I get into my office, I get my journaling done, I get this done, I get my Facebook Live done, I get into it. But this morning I actually listened to what my body wanted, and I sat down and had a cup of tea. I looked at my plant. I got an excellent topic for my Facebook Live, but I also gave myself a little time to recharge. Now, for me this morning, that was about sort of 20 minutes to half an hour. Now, for some people, they're like, oh my God, I can't possibly fit that in my day. Well, you know what? Neither can I. Remember, I'm the queen of 5-minute meditation. However, when I know I need it, when I'm listening and I take the time for myself to do it, I know it's going to pay off. I've got a day today where I'm coaching 4 clients back to back, pretty much. I need to get, I've got to write a training for next week for a new corporate client that called me the other day. And I've also got a new training that I'm running tomorrow that I want to add some information to. So I've got a super busy day today. So it's so easy for me to go, oh, hang on, I'm too busy. I can't take that half an hour to have a cup of tea and actually allow myself to relax and to be and to just give myself some space. When I did that this morning, I already feel way better, way more aligned than I was before. And I also know that the quality of my coaching is, I always put in my absolute best with my coaching for my clients, but I know that that's something that's going to come out in my coaching today. And also in the trainings that I'm writing today and tomorrow, that's all going to add up. So just take the time to take notice of what you need, or what your plants need, as we've been talking about today, what you need, and then choose to do something about it. Because otherwise, we might be doing, like I saw on Facebook this morning, a girl was absolutely exhausted and ended up in hospital. And as Steph Brown here on our thing, on our Facebook Live today said that she was absolutely, she's a bit sick this morning. Generally when we're sick, it's totally because we haven't been listening to ourselves. And one of my mentors also believes that when we're sick, she even says it's not sick, it's a way of us releasing what it is we need to release. But whatever you believe, generally we get to that stage. I think definitely in my life, when I'm running myself down, that's when I get sick. So pulling back, taking a little bit of time, little bits of time now to prevent the big one later on. Steph's just written, when you're talking about your indicators, I thought you were describing me and it was a light bulb moment. Thank you. Great. Thanks, Steph, for sharing that as well. So remember, take a bit of time for yourself. Just go and grab yourself a cup of tea or a drink of water, walk around the block and just ask yourself, what are your indicators? And if you're quiet enough to listen, guess what? You'll get a really clear answer. Have a fabulous day and I'll see you soon. Bye.